Good morning, millennials.
Welcome back to The Toast and happy Thursday. I am in such a glorious mood.
Wow, to what do we owe the pleasure?
Well, so many things. One, my move is done. So that stress is off my plate. Two, I'm a naturally happy person. So when I don't have something like so harrowing and stressful, I'm my gorgeous, glorious, delightful self.
But you said you wouldn't be able to be happy until this evening. What sped up your timetable?
Well, the home organizers with a good constitution, done and done, they are at my place doing all the unpacking and organizing. So like, what's better than things like being taken care of?
I agree.
And I'm with my girl Jax and I'm just feeling good.
I'm so happy for this change of tune, really.
I also hate like when I come on an episode and I'm not able to like get past my own whatever shit. Like sometimes that happens where you're just in a mood and it feels like I can't properly like do my job. And every single day, like I have a million things to do, but the one thing I always have to do is, be myself on the toast. And so when my personal angst starts to affect that, I get mad at myself.
When it starts to Claudia.
Claudia.
You were a Claudia yesterday.
But I came out of it and when I was done, I felt so much better.
First you were a storm Claudia.
All right, don't put me in another bad mood.
And
I'm doing my best.
What's a nice cloud? A nice puffy white cloud.
A summer's day.
You're a summer's day.
You're a summer's day.
Thanks.
So I vlogged the whole experience.
Right.
It is already on Patreon. I was like, let me get the girlies what they need. And the vlog takes like kind of a crazy turn at one point. And I wanted to talk about this on the toast because the more I talk about it, the more I get people's experience and feedback and the better I feel. So during the vlog, Theo was staying with Ben's parents because moving is just like stressful and there was like nowhere for Theo to hang out. And Theo's been like acting a little weird. He appears to have like a leg that's hurting him. And we thought it would go away and then it didn't. So Ben's mom was so generous and was like, while I have him, I'll take him to the vet for you. Like, oh my God, queen. Because my ass was like never taking him. And every time Theo goes to the vet, he gets like a checkup of course. But because he's a King Charles Cavalier and they're as a breed predisposed to heart problems, they always do like an extra, checkup on his heart. And every time we go, they say no heart murmur. And we're like, great, great, great. This time, of course, busy season. We weren't even thinking about the heart. He, at the age of 6, has developed a heart murmur. And this is something, I'm literally going to cry, but I'm really going to try not to. This is something, we grew up with a Cavalier. We know that this is a part of their life, and that's why we're so crazy about keeping them fit and healthy. So it's always been top of mind. I knew this was something we were going to have to deal with at some point. My delusional dream, I thought it would be 30 years down the road. It's a grade 2 out of 5, which is moderate. And what that means is that either it stays a 2, he goes on meds, lives with it, not a big deal, or it's the beginning of like heart problems. So I found out while I was in the midst of vlogging and moving, and I didn't know if I should like include it in the vlog, and I like recorded something and I felt so stupid like being so upset and recording something, but I don't know, I was like alone and I didn't have anyone to talk to. And I was like in the whole day, every 10 minutes updating the vlog about what was going on. And like, this was what was going on. So I wasn't sure if I was going to include it. And I ended up including it. And I'm so glad that I did because so many people reached out to me who have Cavaliers, but who also just have dogs and was like, oh my God, we found out our dog had a heart murmur, like same experience, wanted to die. And he's lived with it completely fine. They told me stories of their dogs who lived to be 14. And then I spoke to my friend Shannon yesterday, not Ford, but my friend Shannon from LA, who is like a dog professional. Like she has probably 100 dogs. She's like a foster. And she's like, oh, please. I had a dog who showed up at my house 12 years old. They told me he was going to live for another day and he lived 4 more years. Like a heart murmur, you can live with. So I feel actually really glad that I shared it because so many people shared their positive experiences. But that was kind of a turning point in the vlog.
Yeah, I would say so. And I think that's also contributed to your mood yesterday. I know you weren't talking about it on the show yesterday, but you were rightfully torn up about it. But I know our boy is fierce. Our boy is strong. This dry sand. I'm looking at my Theo pillow over there. Wishing I had it here. Bruno. Wishing I had it here to give him a hug,
Yeah, I think that, they go on meds and then twice a year you take him to a cardiologist and it should be okay. Unless he has some crazy, and this is just like the beginning. He goes a grade 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, hopefully that's not the case. I was prepared for news like this in my lifetime. Like I knew that this was coming. I just wasn't prepared for it to happen on like this crazy busy day where I'm moving and he was going to the vet for something else.
Yeah. Well,
but that's bad news waits for nobody.
We're with you. And
Thank
whatever
you.
you need, whatever Theo needs, he obviously gets his health insurance through the toast. So
yeah,
we will provide whatever he needs.
Thank you for being, like, my employer has been really amazing throughout this whole situation.
That's really, like, all you could hope for.
No, it's true. And, like, let's talk about employers that are not, like, gracious and flexible when something, like, actually happens to a person. Not enough people talk about that. Like, when you work at a corporate job, they have, like, weird rules, like family member death. Oh, was it immediate family? Oh, if not, you get X. Like, it's so weird. Like, people are people.
Do they have that? I've never thought about it.
Yes, because someone I know just lost someone in their immediate family. I'm like, well, what are you doing about work? And she was telling me that they have, like, you know, well, if it's immediate family, you get X. If it's a like, you get X. But, like, some people's grandparents are their mothers, you know?
Right.
So I just think that's, like, a weird thing not enough people talk about, like, grief when it comes to, like, of course, we're always talking about parental and maternal leave, which is so important, so important. We should still keep having those conversations. But, like, what about grief?
Grief leave.
Grief leave.
It doesn't sound right.
It doesn't. Well, you need to come up with another word for it. I guess it's, like, personal time.
No, I think, like, maybe grievance leave. It's just, like, grief leave is weird.
I got it. A leave of grievance.
A leave of grievance. Yeah.
Like a leave of absence.
Yeah. No, that sounds really nice.
Yeah.
But grief
so it's
is
just been a crazy few days.
Grief is personal, you know?
That's true. Some people, like, want to go back to work almost immediately and then 6 months' time, like, have a breakdown because they didn't properly grieve. So maybe they need that leave of grievance in 6 months.
Yeah. But I understand, like, the corporation's trying to put together some sort of framework, you know? Like,
but they could do better.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to
They could do better in
flexible.
everything.
Everyone could do better, I think.
What could I do?
Aside from us.
Of course. What could I do better, Jax? Curbing my moods?
No, because I think that's just the ebb and flow of life. You're still human. I still want you to be human.
No,
because I like it.
You look absolutely gorgeous and radiant today. Did you do something different with your fotch?
What are you referring to? No,
your
I didn't.
skin is glowy. You look like almost maybe like you stepped into the sun for 30 seconds.
No, still homebound. If anything, last week I was in the sun more because I was walking more. This week I'm not walking so much because I twisted my ankle.
Can we tell everyone? Oh my God, this is the funniest story. Jackie twisted her ankle, which, like, I feel like adults don't do. Like,
and especially, I feel like sober people don't do. Like, the feeling that I have in my ankle right now, like, I'm having flashbacks to college. I feel like I took a couple nasty spills, like, in high Jeffrey Campbell heels. And, like, my ankle was twisted for months. It felt this way.
So tell everyone the story about this weekend when you twisted your ankle.
So this weekend I twisted my ankle being a moron. And it's just, like, completely my fault. And, like, it's something that I look back, I'm like, oh my God, like I feel red in the face of how stupid I was.
Jackie, it sounds like you need to unburden yourself.
Yeah, but I feel like I did in my personal life, but I guess on the show. So we were having a family outing, and we were parked somewhere, and like there was a really long way around to get onto the sidewalk. Mm-hmm. I also didn't feel like that route was the safest because it was like there was cars and everything, but we could just like cross over the grass to get to the sidewalk much quicker. And other people... A cut through. And other people were cutting through the grass because I thought, oh, maybe it's like swampy. No.
Or ticks.
But other people were cutting through. So I was like, let's just cut through. And it was much like deeper than I anticipated. And I twisted my ankle. And it was so painful. I couldn't even go on. I had to walk back to the car, and I sat in the car with Charlie the whole time, and Zach.
While the family outing.
Yeah, well, Zach and Harry went on the outing. We like waited in the car for an hour until they were done. Like I literally couldn't move.
I'm so sorry about your ankle. Nothing takes a girl out like a sprained ankle.
So I had an ACE bandage, which really helped. I've been wearing that the last few days, and my ankle was feeling better, but I slept on it badly last night. And now this morning it's hurting again.
I don't actually understand the science behind an ACE bandage. Like, how does wrapping it up help?
Like compressing it so it can't, fester and sort of fall apart.
I guess.
Like kind of like putting it back together, pushing it inward.
Yeah, because you got to wrap it real tight.
Like the swollenness, you got to push it in. It really, honestly, the ACE bandage really did help. And I blame Streisand for today's pain. He took up the whole bed last night. So my ankle was just like, it went wherever it could.
Yeah, I understand.
But I still love you, Streisand.
I love you, Streisand.
No hard feelings.
Yes, I do. By the way, we have an amazing show today. Yesterday, we did not do Dear Toasters, and we're still not doing it today because when we thought, all right, we have to do Dear Toasters, should we do Thursday or Friday? Friday's episodes always feel like a little like lacking substance because nothing ever happens on a Friday. So now we have Friday to your toasters, which is fabulous.
Yeah, and I guess we could do a little TV recap today because Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was on. I didn't finish it because Charlie needed a quiet, calm environment, and like I had to turn the TV off. I didn't even want to, but I had to.
He needed a quiet woman.
Yeah, and he needed Eagle Woman, and you weren't there.
Yeah. So we'll do Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap. I watched it, and I also watched Watch What Happens Live, which Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was so boring. I don't know what we could possibly recap, but Watch What Happens Live was full of interessante facts.
Okay, cool. So we'll recap that. We've got the Fast Five stories, and I think without further ado, we should get into it because I know Turdy's got a busy day. I've got a busy day. I'm doing another podcast after this.
Whose?
It's called... What's Wrong With Me? I literally know what it's called.
It's called What's Wrong With Me? That's actually a good name for a podcast.
That is a good name for a podcast. No,
honestly, maybe Jackie don't say it now because it's like
I
rude.
I know what it is. No, but because why? Because now it's like rude. I didn't know.
Yeah, don't say it.
But I know what it is, and I'm actually really excited. I don't do other podcasts that often. I'm very like choosy because it's a lot to have an hour-long conversation with someone.
It could be so awkward.
But these girls seem great. I'm excited to chit-chat.
I am also doing some content after this. Who remembers last year when I met Mark Schoenwetter, the love of my life, who was a Holocaust survivor? We did like a Hanukkah video series. That's how we met. We were paired up. And because we connected so fiercely last year, we're doing it again this year. I actually spoke to him last week. We did a Zoom call. And this year's is actually really funny because Mark has been cooking all week his like favorite Jewish Eastern European dishes, and I'm gonna have to try them.
Do you know what he's making?
I do know what he's making. I don't want to spoil it. I also don't remember like the entire menu list. They asked me like to approve certain things. Like there are certain things I won't eat, like a kreplach. Like I'm not eating that.
I actually think you'll like some of it because like probably some of it's stuff that we grew up with. Like, is he gonna make a cabbage soup?
No, he's not gonna make a cabbage soup. He's making a few like of his cornerstone items. I'm not gonna spoil it. But that video will be up soon. Any day I get to spend with Mark, a dream.
I told Turdy this, but for Shabbat this week, I'm making something I've never made before that I'm so excited. I don't know why I'm like craving it.
No, listen, go off, Queenie. Just because I think it's gross.
I don't even know if I've ever had it.
Me neither, by the way.
In my life, but I saw a cooking reel of it, and what I'm making is beef stew.
Now, is it cholent?
Similar.
Cholent is beef stew.
Chili, beef stew are all very similar. So it's like
I don't know.
It's like beef cooked in like a tomato soup sort of thing.
Oh, tomato. I do
and
believe
wine.
So cholent is like a classic Jewish dish. It's really like a beef stew.
But it's really chunky. This is like meat chunks and broth. And potatoes
cholent
and
has like
carrots.
that's literally cholent.
It's not cholent.
No, potatoes, carrots, beef in like a stew. That's cholent.
It's a stew. A beef stew.
Also known as cholent, the stew of our people.
Well,
they were making cholent in
shtetl.
Shtetl, thank you. I couldn't think of the word.
Well, I'm going to make a beef stew because I saw it on a reel. So first I wanted to copy the real recipe, but the creator doesn't have like a recipe website. So I'd have to like keep reading the caption, which
no.
So I Googled beef stew recipe, but I also wanted to put it to the people. Anyone know of a great beef stew recipe?
Do you want me to check my J. Cohen cookbook?
You could check it. I trust him now.
Yeah, me too. That I'm actually the first like real meal me and Ben are gonna make. Maybe not this Friday because like we're still a little chaotic. Maybe next Friday for Shabbat. I want to make the brisket.
I really also want to make the brisket again, and also why I want to make beef stew. It's like something hearty and warm like that will be really good for my milk supply.
Oh, they were onto something in that shtetl.
They were onto something because a few weeks ago, my friend Sam had a baby right around when I did, and we were like comparing, pumping amounts, and she was like, "Oh my God, I got so much this morning. I had beef stew last night." I was like, "Yeah." Like they say, like warm food is really good, like liquidy food. So
you got to make the brisket too.
I want to make the brisket. Maybe I'll wait till you're back. I'm gonna sit and eat a whole brisket by myself.
And if you don't know what brisket we're talking about, you have to become a Patreon member. There are two back-to-back vlogs for Rosh Hashanah this year. Olivia made a brisket. Jackie made a brisket. Jackie and I like followed this recipe from a cookbook I had just got in PR from Jay Cohen, the TikToker. And honestly, it was the craziest thing ever, but it ended up being the most insanely delicious, amazing thing. So between the moving vlog, the brisket, it's never a bad time to become a Patreon member. Patreon.com/ the toast.
Yeah, good stuff over there. We've got 2 more episodes coming at you this month, and they are good ones, podcast episodes for the podcast listeners.
Yeah, we had a lot of vlogs this month. Jackie's children's book vlog for launch week. Oh man, wait, we didn't even talk about how like we're stars
on Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah, so last week was such a crazy week because Jackie was here for her book, and then everything was happening in Israel, and like we like literally didn't know how to function.
That was 2 weeks ago. You were in LA last week.
Oh my God. So Entertainment Tonight, we had scheduled for them to come to interview us, do like a studio tour, talk about Jackie's book, just talk about the toast. And it was so good. It just came out on digital, and I think it airs this weekend. If you go to Entertainment Tonight, you should be able to find it. We talk about everything. The book, how we started the toast, our favorite guests, our least favorite guests, Ozempic, of course. I can't leave my house without talking about it. And actually, the first thing in my apartment was Ozempic. The first thing before any of the boxes.
You had to get it right in the fridge.
Right in the fridge.
Priorities.
Yeah, well, if that thing drops in temperature, I'm screwed.
No, the Entertainment Tonight segment was so good. It was fun. And there's just like kind of a lot of behind the scenes stuff about your girls that you might not know. I feel like everyone knows everything about us, but they found like a new fresh angle to keep it fresh.
100%.
So check that
100%. Certified fresh.
What's that?
Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
When something's good, they call it certified fresh. I don't really like to talk about Rotten Tomatoes or give them any sort of credence because I think the entire philosophy of their brand is broken and flawed.
No, there are broken people.
I mean, that's never been more clear.
It's so rigged and fraudulent, and they act as if they're the voice of the people, and they're the voice of nobody. They speak for nobody except for maybe like a couple curmudgeon critics.
Curmudgeon critics. Couldn't have said it better myself.
So now, without further ado, here are the Fast 5 stories that you need to know.
And the Fast 5 stories that you need to know are brought to you by Rakuten. Very exciting. Just lost my...
Very exciting.
My tab. Okay. Today's episode of The Toast is brought to you by Rakuten, where you can shop for everything from fashion to beauty and home decor to groceries. Rakuten makes it so easy to earn cash back when you shop at thousands of brands across almost every category. And with holiday shopping around the corner, Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you can stack holiday sales and deals on top of cash back to maximize your savings. Some of our favorite brands like Elf Cosmetics, Dyson, Stanley are all participating in Rakuten's Cyber Monday and Black Friday deals. And during Black Friday to Cyber Monday are the highest cashback rates of the year, all the way up to 15% cashback on the stores you are already shopping. Black Friday and Cyber Monday can be overwhelming, but with Rakuten, they are making it easy to earn cash back and get all your holiday shopping done. Start all your shopping trips at Rakuten.com or get the Rakuten app to start saving today. Your cash back really adds up. With all the money we're spending in the next few months because of the holidays, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, you better be doing the most to earn cash back, to be maximizing deals and just taking advantage of all that. And Rakuten is the #1 place to start. They will help you out. And they also have just fabulous brands like Dyson. Hello. So shop at Rakuten.com or get the Rakuten app. It's Rakuten. That's the app to start saving today. Your cash back really does add up. Today's episode is also brought to you by Saks. We are always doing our best when it comes to looking fabulous on the podcast. Oh my God. You know we used to say we're Maxinistas?
We're Saxonistas.
We're Saxonistas. I love that. So sometimes our pajama uniforms and sweatshirts do need a little bit of an upgrade. And that's why we love shopping at Saks.com for everything from podcast looks to GNO outfits and more. It's also just easy to shop on the Saks website. They have so many different categories. You can go specific. Like when I go on vacation, I always do like a haul. And they have a vacation edit. They have work edit, wedding guest. They just make it really easy to find exactly what you're looking for because they have pages and pages of really beautiful things, but their categories make it really easy to shop. So whether you're going for a cozy vibe, you can shop that. A more elevated look, they've got it all at Saks.com. And those categories I was talking about, they get really specific. Like if you want to shop by your star sign, because you know I am like a Cancer, Moon, Leo rising. I don't know if you knew that about me. Somebody told me that in the comments yesterday. I could shop that way if I wanted to. You could find the perfect revenge dress from brands like Christopher Esber and Cult Gaia. Another great reason to shop at Saks is because they do such a great job of discovering new up-and-coming designers, and you can start wearing certain things before everyone else. Like the outfit I wore to the Eras tour, Danielle Guzio, like found it at Saks before everybody else, and now everyone's wearing it, and like I was cool because I had it before. So discover new ways to shop for everything every day at Saks.com. That's SAKS.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. Drizzly is the most convenient way to get beer, wine, and spirits delivered to your doorstep right when you want it. Their tailored experience lets you find the perfect drink for the occasion, no matter what it is. You'll save big time by shopping a huge selection of drinks from wherever you are. You'll save money by comparing prices on drinks across multiple stores. Great for gifting, like you're headed to a dinner party and you told your husband to pick something up and of course he didn't, but you're leaving in like 2 hours. Do it on Drizzly. It'll show up and do all the work for you. You can get a nice bottle of wine. It's nice to show up somewhere with something, and Drizzly understands that. So the last minute gift is covered with the option to schedule ahead, ship, and deliver gifts on demand. So if like you're on your way out and you realize you forgot, ship directly to their door, saving everyone time. Also, another fabulous part about Drizzly is that in a lot of cities, you can get our canned cocktail Spritz Society on it. It's just fabulous. I love Drizzly. So download the Drizzly app. Don't be stupid. Or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com. Use code TOAST and you'll get $5 off or $0 delivery fee off your next order. You must be 21 or over. It's not valid in all states. Codes cannot be combined with any other offers. Not valid at all retailers. Code expires November 10th, 2023 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, Drizzly, for sponsoring that code one more time. Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com, DRIZLY.com. Use code TOAST. You'll receive $5 off or $0 delivery fee off your next order. Must be 21 or over. Not valid in all states. Codes cannot be combined with any other offers. Not valid at all retailers. Codes expire November 10th, 2023, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time.
Thank you, Claudia.
You're welcome.
Our first story, a bit of podcasting rumor news.
Oh my God, is it about us? Everyone's always starting stuff about us.
No, not today.
Not today. Not today. Not today.
About a similar star, Meghan Markle is thrilled as she nears a multi-million-dollar make or break deal for her podcast. So Meghan Markle is thrilled about being on the verge of landing her first major deal since parting ways with Spotify, according to a new report. The Duchess of Sussex.
How do they know she's thrilled? Like,
right. I mean, if you're signing a deal, any deal, I imagine it's thrilling.
It's fair to assume.
It's fair to assume.
Yeah.
But the Duchess is said to be inching closer towards signing on the dotted line for a multi-million-dollar contract with Amazon's podcast production partner, Audible.
Oh, Audible. Because Amazon's podcast, like in-house podcast studio is Wondery. Like they own Smartless.
Yeah, but Audible is Amazon.
Yeah, but that's audiobooks.
Maybe they're combining their audio department. Maybe Wondery is under Audible.
Maybe. Yeah. I like that.
A source told the Closer UK that the new venture has the power.
Oh, the most legit publication in all of UK.
The new venture has the power to make or break her Hollywood dream. That's a little extreme.
Okay, this article's moronic, but what we are taking away is
yes,
that her podcast is not over.
And that she's talking to Amazon.
Well, that's weird to me because the narrative with the last podcast was that they didn't want to do it anymore, and that's why the Spotify deal ended.
Was that the narrative?
Yeah, that like she didn't fulfill her duties. That's what people were saying. And so like they just ended it before all the episodes were contractually, all the episodes that she was obligated to do contractually, she hadn't even done them. That's what they said.
Interesting. So
like, based on what I know about the Spotify podcast, I would have assumed she wouldn't be doing a podcast anymore.
Right. Same. But I mean, maybe she liked it. And maybe now she knows like how many episodes she wants to do. Like maybe now that she has her feet wet, she's prepared to like make a deal that will work better for her.
Schedule.
I feel like that Spotify deal was very vague. Now, I don't know anything, but it was just like a deal and they had their holiday episode and then she started a podcast, but it wasn't like, you're going to start your Meghan Markle podcast. You're going to give us 50 episodes a year. I think it was kind of just like,
laissez-faire.
Here you go. And then they were upset that they didn't produce as much as they had wanted. But I mean, obviously I didn't see the contract, but that's the vibe I got. Because they let them get away with like no content for years.
I have to imagine that the contract said X amount of episodes. Like that's just bad legal.
I could just see it being really vague. Like, because it also, like, that first show wasn't even part of Archetypes. So it wasn't like she had a contract to do Archetypes.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just had a contract to have Meghan and Harry on Spotify.
I mean, I could truly, like, wax poetic for hours about, like, the Spotify exclusive podcast business model that they did for a few years. I feel like they're not doing it anymore. They took a lot of shows completely exclusively, but recently they released some of those shows. Like Armchair Expert is now available on a bunch of platforms. I believe Emma Chamberlain's is too, and Spotify still like does the distribution and like ad sales like any ordinary podcast network would do for a podcast, but they're no longer exclusive to Spotify. Call Her Daddy is, and Joe Rogan is. I'm sure there are others, but those are the ones that come to mind. But I don't know, like their business model is like being shaken up now.
Yeah. I think they're in a period of transition, a period of flux. I look forward to seeing how it all plays out.
Well, I'm moving, so I totally relate to being in like a period of transition.
And a period of flux.
And flux, and also just having my period.
Well, this is interesting. When I saw the headline, it was like her make or break Hollywood dream deal. I thought she might go back to acting.
Okay, yeah, like that's so dramatic. Her make or break. If there was like a make or break Hollywood dream deal, it would have been when she got on Suits. So that's over. And second of all, like she's already like A-list permanent.
No, I
like,
know. I would think a make or break Hollywood dream deal would be like a 3-movie deal with Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, or I think what they're maybe going to end up doing, she goes the route of like Reese Witherspoon and does like, because they just did like a book club. Right, they're optioning Emily Henry's book Happy Place, which I absolutely hated. They're optioning it into a movie.
They
right?
are? Meet Me at the Lake.
Oh, literally same thing. Okay.
Same
thing. Meet Me at the Lake. Yes, I liked that book a little bit. Not I didn't hate it. So if she like started a production company and, you know, optioned 10 books, like that's a make or break Hollywood. You become like Reese.
Right. I feel like podcasting is not for her. And when I think about like what I would see her doing, it would be more like Joanna Gainsey, Oprah, like content. Oprah. Like we want to see you, first of all.
It's true.
You're a gorgeous lady.
We want to see you. And like we want to see the fashion.
And we want to see the house. We want to see the vibes.
Yep. It's so true. Podcasting is
for hiders.
It's for ugly girls. No kidding. I'm completely kidding. I agree. She's far too beautiful to be like hidden behind a microphone.
I agree.
And it's also, and maybe this was her experience, it sounds like such an easy job. And I think people underestimate the amount of like labor that's required to put out like a good piece of content, even if you have help. So maybe, and I think that happens to a lot of people. You start a podcast and it's just like, it was supposed to be a side thing, but it's a lot of fucking work. And you have to like leverage your personal relationships to ask people to come on. Like maybe she didn't want to do that. It's not as like dumb and simple as I think a lot of people think it is. And so maybe that was her experience. She was like, you know, this is like too much work. I'm over it. But she's going back to it.
Right. So that's the surprising piece.
Because keep in mind, this is not a person who needs to work like imminently. They have a good amount of money.
They would be okay. I think they do like need to work a bit.
No, they need to sustain the lifestyle.
But I also think that they want to be top of mind, relevant, like in the press, spoken about. That helps their other ventures. You know, you got to have something going on. That goes for anyone.
That goes for the business. That's Hollywood, baby.
That's showbiz, baby.
That's showbiz. So let's just hope and cross our fingers it's a vodcast.
Yeah.
So the Spotify one was not.
Even though Spotify likes a vodcast.
Everyone loves a vodcast. Like, we want to see, bitch.
Vodcasting is the new thing.
Vodcasting greater than podcasting.
We've been doing it since day one.
That's the thing about us that nobody ever like gives us credit for the trailblazing effect of our business.
Yeah, but we know.
And that's like all that matters. Not.
Are you ready for our next story?
I honestly and truly am.
Some more memoir news this week. We've got another memoir coming out next week. I could give you a million guesses, and you won't guess who wrote their memoirs.
Really?
Yeah, he's just not someone you think about.
Okay.
Actually, I guess I could give you some roundabout clues. Maybe you can get it. Because weirdly, when I think of this guy right now, like this is what I think of, sadly. Okay. I know there are more obvious clues, but this is what I think of. Father of Kim's friend.
Lionel Richie?
No, good guess.
Rick Hilton?
No, good guess. Okay,
I'm gonna get it.
Father
No, I'm gonna get
of Lifer.
Father of Lifer. David Foster?
No.
Father of Lifer.
You might not know this fun fact.
Maybe not.
Henry Winkler.
I knew that. And I have a story about Henry Winkler. I don't know. I feel like every time he comes up on the toast, I've said it.
He's only come up like once or twice.
I had a really interesting interaction with Henry Winkler on a flight.
What happened? Maybe it'll be in his memoir.
No, literally, because it was, I think he was really taken by me. He gets on the plane, and the seat that I was, New York to LA, the seat that I was sitting in was like the seat he needed because he was like with his family or something. And he was like, do you mind switching? I actually ended up getting a better seat, so I was happy to do it. And when I heard it was for a celebrity, I was more than happy to oblige. He was so grateful. Like, you would have thought I gave him like the shirt off my back. He was so grateful. And like the whole flight, every time he walked by me, he was like, oh, thank you. Such a nice guy. And we just kind of became best friends after that.
So I look forward to reading about it from his perspective.
Yeah.
In his new memoir called Being Henry, The Fonz and Beyond.
Yeah, he has like a huge legacy that I'm so unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
What is the Fonz?
I have no idea. To
it's
me,
a show.
He's like the water boy.
Yeah.
But to other people, he's the Fonz. And I think being described as Kim's friend's dad.
Right. Zoe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, he has his memoirs coming out.
Memoirs of a Fonzie.
Memoirs of a Fonzie. That would be a better name. But when someone's written their memoirs, why is it plural even though it's a memoir?
It's a good question. Maybe because it's like their memories in a book, but it makes no sense. What do you think is the best titled memoir besides Girl with No Job, The Crazy Beautiful Life of an Instagram Thirst Monster?
Memoirs of a Streisand.
No, but like for real.
I would need a list. I know you what?
Because I have an answer. It was Reza Farahan from Shahs of Sunset, Memoirs of a Gay Shah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard a better titled book.
No, I didn't even hear that. Honestly, like that's the kind of book where it's like you have the title first and then you write the book to suit the title.
100%, because I cannot hear the word memoir without thinking of that film Memoirs of a Geisha, which I've literally never seen. I don't even know what it's about.
You know, it's a book first, and I think it's an amazing book. I haven't read it or seen the movie, and I think that's a book that we should read.
Maybe do it for the redheads.
I'm sure someone of the four of us has read it, but it's historical fiction.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, I actually should read that.
Yeah, like Memoirs of a, I always am saying something like that. Memoirs of a something.
Memoirs of a Scheisse.
Oh, somebody gave me a good, our friend Joe Grun, he texted me because he listens to the toast, and I was saying, what should my next book be called? A Tale of Two Turdies.
Which two of these turdies?
So he's like, you need to have kids, and like then there's like two turdies, like the new mom era, and then like the previous whack job turdy.
Okay. But you really want turdy in the title?
Like, no, but yes.
We'll work on it.
It's a starting point.
But speaking of his memoirs, Henry Winkler has written his, and he's opening up about rejecting the lead role in Grease. I love these stories.
I love these stories.
So it only took one word spread across 3 syllables for Henry Winkler to go down in television history. In his first audition for Happy Days, Winkler dropped his iconic A, which became an immediate signature for his 1950s greaser, Arthur Fonzie Fonzarelli. I guess that's...
Oh, so it's Happy Days.
I guess so.
I'm so unfamiliar.
After his effortlessly cool character became a bedrock of the hit American sitcom across the show's 10-year
I love the word
run,
bedrock.
Bedrock. Beans are the bedrock.
Right.
Winkler found himself paralyzed. This is a People magazine article that's incredibly well written. Winkler found himself paralyzed by fears of being typecast, going so far as to turn down the role of Danny Zuko in 1978's Grease, which was ultimately played by John Travolta, he writes in his memoir.
I need to look up what a young Henry Winkler looks like, just so I can visualize him as Danny Zuko.
Henry said, I was dumb. I spent so much energy, so much time. I spent so many sleepless nights thinking, how do I not get typecast? What would he tell actors facing a similar predicament today? You go with the flow. What you do is you prepare to reinvent yourself. You do something completely different and then come back to center. I feel like the idea of being typecast, like the predicament of being typecast is such a good problem to have. Like
a
such
dream.
A luxury to be like, oh, in so many things so many popular things as the same person. Like, okay, if you ever get to that point, like a good problem to have.
I just looked up a picture of a young Henry Winkler. He looks literally like Danny Zuko. His hair is gelled back and he was wearing a leather jacket. And I guess that might have been what his character on Happy Days was like. So he didn't want to do another like slicked back bad boy thing. So I get it. And you know what? It kind of served him well because my sort of
association
of Henry Winkler is like family man, cutie, like opposite of Danny Zuko. So it worked.
Yeah, I agree.
And honestly, that movie like made John Travolta after Saturday Night Fever. So like that was good for John Travolta. It was good for Scientology, and I guess good for Henry Winkler.
It was meant to be because John Travolta is meant to be Danny Zuko. I'm not looking for a different Danny Zuko.
I feel like whenever we hear about missed casting news, like things that it's always from Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to have gotten this from another news source.
From a primary source.
From a primary source. I don't know if I would read this book. I don't think that I would.
I would require too much Googling for me. And also it's like, I don't even know how Happy Days was received. Was it the biggest show on TV? I don't know how many seasons.
It was.
It was?
Yeah, but like, unless you lived it or even remotely familiar with it, I don't feel like it would be interesting.
Yeah, but then like I read a memoir last year by Carrie White. She was a celebrity hairstylist like in the 70s, 80s. And you would think like that wouldn't do it for me, but it was so fascinating.
Yeah, I remember.
It's called Uppercut. I highly recommend.
I like that name. That's a good title. Oh, what's Henry's title?
Being Henry.
It's a little basic.
And then subtitle, The Fonz, ... and Beyond. If he had played Buzz Lightyear, that would be like better.
Did he?
Who plays Buzz Lightyear?
I'm trying to think. I know Tom Hanks is Woody.
Uh-huh. Who plays Buzz Lightyear?
Like voice.
Tim Allen.
Classic.
Yeah. Classic voice.
Well, happy for the Fonz. Happy for my former seatmate. And like, it's so good to see him out here, like, you know, doing big things.
Why is it memoir season?
That's a good question. Well, a lot of books do come out before holiday season, October, November, because that's just good for book sales.
Yeah.
So I do believe that's why.
Another memoir that's really amazing is The Camper and the Counselor.
Yeah. A young girl's struggle. It's beautiful.
To find herself in a whole new world.
It's kind of a coming of age story.
It is a coming of age story. And I've gotten a lot of feedback from people who it's like, this is a great book, not even about camp, just about like separation anxiety, about leaving your parents for the first time to do anything, like a sleepover.
Theo needs that book.
It has eternal lessons.
Yeah, it's a universal story.
It is. It really is. Are you ready for our next story?
Yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe's Harry Potter stunt double was paralyzed after Deathly Hallows set accident, and now the two have teamed up for a documentary to tell his story. So Daniel Radcliffe has boarded the upcoming HBO original documentary called David Holmes, The Boy Who Lived, as an executive producer, in addition to being prominently featured in the film as an interview subject. The movie, which is set to debut in November, chronicles the life of Daniel's Harry Potter's stunt double, who worked closely alongside Daniel from Sorcerer's Stone all the way to Deathly Hallows Part 1, when he was tragically paralyzed during a set accident. Holmes broke his neck performing a stunt and was paralyzed from the chest down. The official doc synopsis from HBO reads, the film is a coming-of-age story of stuntman David Holmes, a prodigious teenage gymnast from Essex, England, who was selected to play Daniel Radcliffe's stunt double in the first Harry Potter film when Daniel is just 11. Over the next 10 years, the two form an inextricable bond, but on the penultimate film, a tragic accident on set leaves David paralyzed with a debilitating spinal injury, turning his world upside down. As Daniel and his closest stunt colleagues rally to support David and his family in their moment of need, it is David's extraordinary spirit of resilience that becomes their greatest source of strength and inspiration.
Oh my God, I literally have chills.
Yeah.
I chose this story. I just want to get credit for it. Because I saw it and I was like, this is so fabulous. You know, telling a story that would never get told. I feel like situations like this get buried because like Hollywood doesn't want like their practices to be called into question.
Yeah.
I love that Daniel Radcliffe is associated with it. One, because it'll just get more eyeballs on it because that's how the world works. And 2, I think if he wasn't on it, depending on how the story is told, like he could come off almost like a villain. I don't know what happened, but the fact that he's a part of it and amplifying the story and, you know, he has a friendship with this guy, I think it's fabulous.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting. I didn't even know this story. I'm not a Harry Potter swirly, so maybe it's known in that community. But
I also feel like there are probably a lot of stories like this that don't get told. Like this, I would watch a documentary on like stunt community in general.
Stunt culture.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a crazy job to choose. It's for that thrill-seeking type of guy or gal.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a job I could never do. I'm like afraid of fucking everything.
Yeah, I actually saw a video recently. You know how everyone says like Tom Cruise does his own stunts? Like that just like, never meant anything to me.
I saw the video too.
I think I might have sent it to you because I was so impressed by like what it meant for him to do his own stunts.
You probably sent it to me on Reels after I'd seen it a few times on TikTok.
No, you sounded impressed. And it was just like him riding a motorcycle off a cliff over and over and over again.
Yeah. I agreed. Like Tom Cruise does his own stunts. Like those are words that meant nothing to me.
Yeah, just a couple of words strung together.
Especially because I never saw Mission Impossible. Like I don't know what the stunts are, you know?
Right.
But I agree. I saw the visual of that, and also him. There's a scene where a plane is taking off, and he's like literally holding onto the plane on the wing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I saw that too. He's a nut. There's literally no reason for that. Like in this day and age, like do it in a studio and get a computer. Like
Tom Cruise is so interesting. And you know what made me think about
the perfect word for him is nutty. Like he's nutty.
But I was just thinking about him because in Beckham, like when the Beckhams moved to America, they become friends with celebrities, but they keep saying Tom Cruise, Tom Cruise, Tom Cruise. Like
as if they? I don't even remember.
Yeah, like he was always out with Tom Cruise, like as if that was like the biggest guy in the world. And like I guess that he is.
He was. No, he's not. He was like back in the day, because now with the internet, like people know things about Tom Cruise, like Scientology, and I think a lot of that came out after he divorced Katie Holmes.
Yeah, Katie Holmes was like who they were double dating with at the time, but like even every time Tom Cruise comes out with a movie, it's number one. He's like the biggest movie star still. But he's
kind of like that definition of like an old school movie star. We don't really have like movie stars anymore because everyone does a million movies on all the streaming. But back in the day, there was a couple movies a year that were the biggest ones. And if there was a Tom Cruise movie, like he was the star. Like he was the definition of a quintessential movie star.
But one, he still is. And two, it's just like, it doesn't compute for me. Just like Tom Cruise does his own stunts, like Tom Cruise new movie, like I just am not paying attention.
It's not our genre.
So it was just crazy. Like it's David Beckham, he's coming to America, and it's about Tom Cruise.
So who do you think is like the next Tom Cruise?
Where it's like every movie is a success.
I think it's Miles Teller. I feel like Top Gun was like the actual passing of the baton.
Yeah, but I feel like Miles Teller will do and has done like more like artsy introspective movies, where it's like Tom Cruise action.
Yeah, no, like mass appeal.
There's just action movies, good or bad. Mission Impossible, like Miles Teller,
it's like
Tom
Marvel.
Cruise doesn't get nominated for an Oscar.
So I guess it's like Marvel, maybe like Chris Hemsworth or Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Pratt of the Chris variety.
But no, Chris Pratt being a movie isn't a guaranteed box office success.
It kind of is.
No, it's really not.
Why? What recently? Even like his Super
Mario?
Huge.
Really? I feel like he got roasted.
Like every record. Yeah, people didn't like it because they don't like him, but it broke every record. That's literally Tom Cruise.
I stand by like a Chris Hemsworth.
I think it's a Chris of the Pratt variety.
Yeah, you're right. It's not like the Oscar artsy, like good movies.
Jurassic World.
Yeah, Jurassic World. Yeah. He's got a lot of franchises under his belt.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
No, Claudia, these two people are the same.
But I don't think of Chris Pratt as like so famous as a person. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he gets hounded by paparazzi. You know?
I think that if he wanted to, he could.
Yeah, maybe Tom Cruise wanted to.
Yeah, but now he doesn't.
No. Highway to the danger zone. Ba-ba-da. You know?
I do know. Anyways, the documentary on the stunt double. Looks fascinating.
Yeah, we took that really far. It does look fascinating, and it makes me really like Daniel Radcliffe, like amplifying, the silenced voice of this person.
Yeah. Daniel Radcliffe, another one.
Let's talk about it. Because I've been dying to talk about it for a fucking minute.
What do you have to say?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
What an interesting fella. You think he's set for life financially?
1,000%. And that's kind of the dream. I know he does like other smaller projects now, and like
he does like Independence.
Yeah, and like comedy. He kind of can like fuck around and do whatever he wants.
I feel like he's done like some projects with Funny or Die.
Yeah, he has this show that's like a medieval parody show.
Okay.
But yeah, he just can fuck around. He has mailbox money for life.
Love that. You think Ron Weasley does?
Yeah.
And Emma?
Yeah.
But she continues to work like in mainstream things.
Yeah, but she also chooses like some dogs.
Yeah. Some dogs. Yeah, for sure.
She chooses unprofitable things.
Yeah, not Beauty and the Bees.
Not Beauty and the Bees. But I feel like, I don't know why I feel like she didn't want to do it.
Oh, I'm also so glad you talk about that because I've been dying to talk about it for a fucking minute.
And I feel like maybe honestly,
Beauty and the Beast is my absolute favorite recent Disney film in like the last 20 years. It's the best one.
Hands down. It's unreal. It's perfection.
It's perfection. We've watched it 1,000 times. We know everything about it. We watch like the DVD extras. And you're right. Like Emma Watson has this attitude where she's like clearly doing it for the money and she thinks this is stupid.
No, I don't even think it's for the money. Like maybe she was blackmailed or something, but you just get the sense that she doesn't want to be there.
And if you watch the movie now through that lens, you will understand what we're saying. And I think it's because she's fiercely feminist. And Disney at its like, basics, especially that film, she marries her captor. Like it's not the most woke, female first herstory type of film, but that's why we love it.
Right. So it's like, why did she take it? And even when she when she would do interviews about the role, she was like, I really wanted Belle to be like, more
an
like
industrialist,
industrial modern woman, like, can take care of herself, independent. So that's why they have that scene of her doing her laundry in an innovative way.
No, and that's why I also saw this in a DVD extra. Something that was Emma Watson's idea was to have Belle's like dress that she wears throughout town be hiked up on the side, a signal that she's an industrialist because she can't be walking around town in a dress. Her dress needs to be hiked up with her boots so that she can, do her laundry in an innovative way.
Yeah, so she does her laundry in an innovative way, thus, flipping on its head.
Yeah.
The message of Stockholm Syndrome.
She's very mechanical that she learned from her father.
And I'm just like, so why'd you do it?
Yeah, like let's get a woman in here who doesn't care.
Like, because it just kind of puts this cloud over the movie of like, Emma Watson hates this movie.
Oh my God, you're so right. And like, we know Emma Watson, we know her personality and her values and what she stands for. And we know, honestly, like Belle is different. Like Belle's not like that.
No, Belle is just a traditional woman who likes to read.
Yeah, and like wants to be taken care of, Yeah,
she saw that castle. She got ideas.
She was impressed.
She had ideas.
So you're right. I guess like the one fatal flaw is that Emma Watson's like personality really doesn't align with the character of Belle, and she doesn't do a good job of hiding it.
Yeah.
Like Emma Watson is just one of those girls, and I feel like I always talk about them, like this new modern wave feminism who like wears t-shirts that say, the future is hers, herstory, the future is female. It's very like performative, in my opinion, like white woman's activism, and doesn't actually move the needle. And those people like don't actually support women. No. That's just my, I don't know if that's true about Emma Watson. That's just how I receive it. That sort of activism. And it doesn't align with like the Disney of yore.
No, it doesn't. She tried to like make it something that it's not. Okay, Belle did her laundry. Cool.
Right, Belle's skirt was hiked up a little bit.
Cool.
But like not in a provocative way, in an industrial way.
No, and in like a signaling way. So that you...
Oh yeah, and then wait, like
so
that
scene,
you,
8-year-old viewer, no, she's not like other girls.
And then there's that scene where her dad is, being crazy Maurice, and he's putting together some piece of technology with gears and shifts, and he can't figure it out. And in 2 seconds, Belle comes over and she's like, Father. She flips the little gear, flips the switch. Now it works.
She's brilliant, that Belle.
She's brilliant, that Belle.
So Daniel Radcliffe doesn't have to work.
Right. That's what we were going for.
And until I experience Harry Potter, which I do believe, like as a boy mom, that's in my future.
100%.
So that's why, like, I'm not going to clown on Harry Potter. I just, like, kind of take a step back and I'm like, I don't know anything, but I look forward to entering the world because I think once I do, I'll be obsessed. And also, ever since someone told me that I'm a Ravenclaw and explained the traits of Ravenclaw, girl, I'm a Ravenclaw.
I was told I'm a Gryffindor.
I think you are a Gryffindor. Like,
you're
affable.
such a Ravenclaw, and I literally don't even know, but I know they probably read.
No, they're like independent thinkers, like question everything.
That's so you.
Come to their own conclusions.
You.
Gryffindor is like very affable, is the vibe.
Yeah, I'm definitely a Gryffindor. All I know is that if somebody calls you a Slytherin, like they hate you, and they think of you like an extremely low.
But do they not hate you more if they call you Hufflepuff?
I just think like, and maybe I have a lack of knowledge. I just feel like if you call me Hufflepuff, like you're calling me fat.
1,000%.
1,000%. And I don't know, but it's just the vibe.
Yeah.
Like Hufflepuff is like,
it's puff.
Yeah.
It's chubby. And from like the few moments I have seen of Harry Potter, like I just remember like one Hufflepuff character that was chubby.
Yeah, no, that's definitely facts.
I'll need to look more into it. I can't imagine it's a whole house of chubby people.
If I have to imagine like Hufflepuff, it's that
Bruce
more like
from Matilda.
It's like that more chubby, affable type of person, but who's severely underestimated intellectually. If I had to guess.
Got it. And Gryffindor is like that affable kind of like color war captain vibe.
Main character energy, color war captain. Yes.
Yeah.
Slytherin is like really smart intellectual who uses their powers for evil.
Yeah. And blonde, or if you're blonde.
And, yeah, of course. And I think Ravenclaw is the opposite of that, like really smart intellectually, but you use your power for good and like you think critically.
That's why, yeah, our girl is Ravenclaw.
I've seen definitely like Chamber of Commerce, whatever that first movie's called. Chamber of Secrets. And I definitely saw the second one. And that's it. And I was shocked to find out, actually, because I never like fully kept up with it, that Robert Pattinson plays a critical role in a later film. Twilight wasn't his first franchise.
He's done this before.
I think I've seen this film before.
And I didn't like the ending. I've actually, I think I have seen a couple Harry Potters just because, like, you know, at camp we had to go see a movie, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
There was
Ben's
one
obsessed.
There was one with a tree, a big tree. It was spooky.
Sorcerer's Stone. Let me try and guess the names of the Harry Potter movies. But I know Chamber of Commerce and I know Sorcerer's Stone. I know those are the first two. Those are the two
I
that
now
I saw.
know Deathly Hallows. I guess it was part 1 and 2 because we just read this article. That was
okay. So
Deathly
that's first 2 and second 2, and there's 7 movies.
There
so
are.
We need the middle 3.
What's also crazy is that in the UK they're called something different. I believe Sorcerer's Stone is called Philosopher's Stone.
Worst name.
I think so. Like, where did Harry Potter Philosopher's Stone?
I feel like one of the films has the word portal in it. Like
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Yeah. Oh, you know, I think I saw that on like a first edition like website where you could like buy a Harry Potter books. Let's go through them. See if they ring a bell.
Chamber of Commerce.
Harry Potter, the complete collection on eBay. Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban. Yeah.
Oh, classic Prisoner of Azkaban.
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
I'm familiar.
Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
I don't know her.
Familiar. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Oh, I know him.
I know him less.
How much is the full collection going for on eBay?
And the Deathly Hallows. Let's see. This one's $50.
For $7?
Yeah, 1 to 7.
It's like not a bad price.
No, but why would you buy this on eBay and not Amazon?
No, it's a good point.
Especially it's not like first edition or anything.
Like if you're trying
I think
be
it's like a better price than Amazon.
Yeah, I guess if you're trying to be like sustainable.
Trills,
brah.
No, and this is definitely a better price than Amazon. Like you're getting a deal here. I just assume because it's on eBay, it's going to be like more.
Antique.
Yeah, first edition.
Yeah.
So if anybody wanted the complete set, go ahead. Now are you ready for our next story?
Is it our next story that's brought to you by State Farm?
It is.
The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create a plan that gives you options so you get an affordable price. And it comes with a lot of benefits, like the coverage you want, a policy that helps cover what's important to you, and an affordable price just for you. Because after all, life is just better when you can personalize your experiences. So think about it like this. What are your music playlists, podcast feeds, and social media scrolls all have in common? Well, they're a reflection of you. We all know my social media is full of heirs yelling at New York City doormen to let them in the club, even though I found out yesterday that video was a scam. Jackie's very much like in her, breastfeeding content, co-sleeping, whatever those words are. We're different, but we're so similar. And insurance is the same way. We require different coverage, even though Jackie and I are so similar. Jackie's a homeowner. She lives in a different state. She has a Tesla. I'm a renter. I live in New York. Like, we have different needs. And State Farm understands that. That's what the State Farm Personal Price Plan is all about. It gives you options to help you personalize your coverage so that you can protect what you care about most, all at an affordable price just for you. So you can see yourself in more of everything that you love. Like a good neighbor. Oh my God. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com today to create your State Farm Personal Price Plan. Prices vary by state, options selected by customer, availability and eligibility may vary. Call or go to statefarm.com today to create your State Farm Personal Price Plan. Prices vary by state, options selected by customer, availability and eligibility may vary. Today's episode is also brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything, from products to content to time. It's all done in one place, and it's all done on your terms. So there's a million reasons why you could start a website, one of them being it's 2023, like what are you doing if you don't have a website? If you're starting a side business or an e-commerce website, Squarespace is fabulous. Starting a website can be extremely overwhelming and daunting. Squarespace makes it easy. They've got templates. It'll make your website look like a professional did it, but it was really just you in your basement. So again, e-commerce is a great reason to have a website. If you're a photographer, a videographer, an artist, and you want to showcase your assets, have a portfolio of your work, they can do that too. They have flexible templates. You can get started with one of them. With designs for every category and use case, you'll be able to customize your look, update content, and add features to fit your unique needs. You can also do email campaigns where you drive sales and engage your audience with Squarespace email campaigns. You can easily collect subscribers on your site and build connections and repeat business through regular email updates. In my opinion, one of the best parts is that if you are a seller of something and you sell online, but you want to sell in person, you can sell in person by connecting a Square reader to the Squarespace app. You'll be able to keep your orders, your inventory, and your customer data in sync with your online store. So head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/toast to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. That's squarespace.com/toast.
Thank you, La.
You're welcome.
Our next story, it's that time of year.
It's the greatest time of year.
And it's the time of year for a lot of things, but I feel like one thing we always talk around this time of year is The Crown, because it always comes out again in November. Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
So the final season, part 1 comes out November 16th. Part 2 comes out on December 14th. I don't know if that means like there's just 2 long episodes or what have you. But
Wait, what? Part 1
of the final season.
So is it like 5 episodes and 5 episodes, 10 episodes and 10 episodes, 1 episode and then 1?
I don't know, Latard. That's not the point of the story.
Just because you have the iPad, I thought you like knew everything.
No, I mean, that's not the point of the story. So they just like drop that confusing tidbit, which I then had to like relay as if I understood.
As an expert.
But the point of the story is that the Crown creator, Peter Morgan, reveals how Queen Elizabeth's death changed the show's ending. So Peter Morgan, the mind behind The Crown, explained to Variety in a new interview that he was compelled to change direction with the hit television show as a result of the Queen's death. He said, "We'd all been through the experience of the funeral, so because of how deeply everybody will have felt that, I had to try and find a way in which the final episode dealt with the character's death, even though she hadn't died yet." So
right, because we're saying goodbye to her like forever.
Right, and the show will end in 2005. He said it was important to keep the cutoff, to keep it historical, not journalistic. So it stops almost 20 days before present time. This last season...
20 years.
Yeah, 20 days. Lols. This season will delve into Prince William navigating life in the wake of his mother's death, the marriage of Charles and Camilla, the early stages of William and Kate Middleton's relationship, and the relationship between Diana and Dodi Fayed ahead of their fatal car crash in Paris.
No, and who just died? Mohammed Fayed, right?
Yeah.
Dodi died in the car.
Right. Oh, and then Muhammad died. Yeah, I guess.
Just recently, like a year ago.
Right.
I love the actor who plays him. I don't know what Mohammed Fayed was like in real life, but he's so fucking funny.
He's so affable in the show.
No, I relate to him. Like, all he cares about is fame. And he's like, I have endless amounts of money. Get me fame.
No, and not even just fame. Get me to the queen.
Yeah, no, he had big dreams.
I'll buy this house for the queen.
Yeah. No, I'm obsessed with him. Now, I love The Crown. And I love royals. And I love modern royals, but I feel like the beauty of The Crown for me was learning so much about a time before I was alive and the crazy things that happened in the royal family, but also in England and in the world. So I feel like a little fatigued by modern, like the Diana years. I feel like there's been so many documentaries and films, and I feel like we're always talking about Diana with Harry and Meghan. So I'm a little Diana era fatigued. But I'll still watch it and love it. But I think I'll probably end up, when I rewatch the whole series in 10 years, really preferring the earlier seasons.
Yeah. And like the creator said, we're getting into a territory where it's like the history hasn't been written. It's a little bit disputed. It's a lot of
up for debate.
He said, she said. So I think the 90s portion will continue to be very interesting, especially like how Charles navigates being with Camilla. I don't really know. Even all that stuff about like the phone call and the tampon. I didn't know any of that. So to me that was still like things in which I didn't know. Mm-hmm. I do look forward to seeing the portrayal of William and Kate just because that's always fun. But
the best part of The Crown is like literally after the episode Googling and being like, oh my God, these things really happen. Princess Anne getting her toes sucked on the beach.
Right. So, but I think like up until 2005 for me personally, so I would have been 13, like I still wasn't paying that much attention, let alone to like the royal family. I didn't have a care in the world.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's totally
fair. Unless like they were meeting the Spice Girls, then I care. Which then they were. I wonder if the Spice Girls will be in. You know how sometimes they just like put,
like Jackie Kennedy was in an episode.
Right.
Random like celebrities, real people who met the Queen.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for the final season of The Crown. It is still my dream for the next Crown to be like a Crown prequel and to be about Queen Victoria.
Oh, I would like that. I do feel like they'll probably
more crowns, but just
they should
go back further.
No, I totally love or different countries.
Different countries. They could do CC,
Russia,
Austria. They could do Russia for days.
Right. That's the wait. Don't tell me. Romanovs.
Yeah. Just wait till you get sucked into the Romanovs, Turdy.
No, it's in my future.
I love that for you.
Yeah. Even though there was an episode of The Crown,
yes,
about the Romanovs, and it ended. It seemed that the Romanovs ended poorly. Right?
They all get killed. Imagine a worse fate.
Yeah. Were they Jewish?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm conflating two historical moments.
Certainly not a friend to the Jews.
Oh, so I don't really care how their fate ended.
Yeah, that's always like I'm obsessed with Russian history and all the czars, and then it's like I'll read about them and it's also glamorous and interesting, and it's like, but then like the way they treated their Jews is literally why we live in America now.
Right,
like that's where our family hails from.
As Russian girlies ourselves.
Yeah, so it's hard to balance, but I just keep it separate.
No, that's just whenever you, as like a Jewish person or even like any person who's a conscious adult who knows about the Holocaust, but especially as a Jewish person, when I get into something historical that's not like World War II, like Downton Abbey, it starts in 1912. I'm like, well, what were these peeps doing in 1939, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And they never get there in Downton Abbey. I think then the movie ends, it's like
1927 is the first movie.
Right. So maybe we're at like 1930. I don't think they'll get there because it gets dicey. But it does, beg the question. I always think like when we get there, Cora from Downton Abbey is Jewish, so maybe she has a story to tell.
No, but maybe that's why engaging in like British history is enjoyable, because they never became Nazis.
That's so true.
So you can root for them.
They didn't become Nazis, but they experienced the war, the World War.
They fought Nazis the whole time.
Right. They were good peeps.
So you can always root for them. So I'm not worried about, what Robert Grantham was doing. Like,
oh, that's true. I guess like Cora's not going to get taken out of her house by a Nazi because the ledger says she was Jewish.
Right, because they never made it over.
They protected, yeah.
And even in Downton Abbey, Robert Grantham actually does like mention Hitler once because of Edith's husband who went to Germany.
The Marquis.
No, Edith's husband.
Oh, Michael.
Michael went to Germany and disappeared, and they were talking about the brown shirts.
And Hitler.
And they were like, there are these guys, they wear brown shirts, and they're mad.
Yeah, you're right.
So that was like a little Easter egg.
Such a good point.
So what was I saying? So yes, so the Romanovs, and it's like every Tsar, some were terrible, and then, you know, one dies, and the next one's like, what's it going to be for the Jews?
Right. You were saying, though, that the crown should do other generations and other countries.
Yes, other generations would love, other countries would love. Really, someone should do something extensive on the Romanovs because there's so much there.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like I've watched everything that I can. There's a really good documentary on Netflix, but it's not like scripted or anything. And I know there's that one show with Elle Fanning that I didn't like. Please don't tell me to watch it. The Grit.
Catherine the Great.
It's called The Grit, and it's not good. Sorry.
I watched, actually, weirdly, the first episode.
Did you like it?
No, she goes and just gets, in the first episode, like married off,
Shipped off, yeah.
Yeah.
To marry. But it's not good. They tried to make it like comedy. It's
funny.
Please don't tell me to watch it. I've tried. She tried. And it should be something I would love.
Yeah.
So that's how bad it is.
Yeah.
Our fifth and final story is like a little bit of viral news. You know us. We love to talk about what everyone's talking about.
Yeah.
And there's a list of places going around that women refuse to go on a first date.
Okay, so this all started on TikTok. Let me explain because I know you don't know. This woman went viral for making a TikTok in her car about this first date she was going on, and the guy took her to the Cheesecake Factory, and she's like, are you fucking kidding me? She was very funny, but it sparked a debate about, like, if someone took you to the Cheesecake Factory, would you be upset? So
here's a list of places women refuse to go on a first date, and let's discuss. And as much as I love the Cheesecake Factory, and I would love to say, like, you know, if someone took me there on a first date, that would not be a deal breaker. If they took me there on a first date, like in a serious way,
I think it's so hard for like to make a blanket statement on a place because, first of all, where do you live?
Right. That's the big question.
In a lot of places, like the Cheesecake Factory is the only, you know, nice sit-down restaurant for miles. So circumstances, socioeconomics, like there are a lot of different factors.
Yeah. So are you answering the question like broadly or as you yourself?
So, okay, let's set the scene. I met this guy on an app. He barely knows me. Like, it's not someone who knows that I love the Cheesecake Factory because, like, if Ben took me there, I'd be like, fuck yes.
Yeah. He barely knows you. You live in New York City? Or you live in, like, a smaller city?
I don't know. If I live in the city, it makes no sense. There's 1,000 restaurants before I get to a Cheesecake Factory.
Right. Cheesecake Factory is actually inconvenient.
Yeah, it's outside of the city. It's in Jersey City.
Right. Okay, let's go through the list. 1, Cheesecake Factory. 2,
I would be okay with it. They serve alcohol. I really would, for real.
2, Applebee's.
Okay, it's less nice. It's more of a neighborhood spot. There's a lot of like sports teams, you know, after school little leagues that go there. Maybe not.
Where did we go after Coachella? Was that Applebee's?
Applebee's.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, but we went at midnight.
That's true.
It was like a lit after, like, it's like a drunk munchy place.
Got it. 3, Chili's.
It's a little pedestrian.
For a first date.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to, you know,
impress,
wine and dine.
But again, like, it just depends on the person. Like, living in New York, you have elevated dining. So, of course, a chain like Chili's isn't considered fine dining. It's not considered fancy. But in different parts of the country, like, I just feel like this conversation isn't fair.
Yeah, it's like in Glee when they go to Breadsticks.
Exactly. Like, by the way, perfect example.
The next one I actually think is a hard no matter what, and that's Chipotle.
It's a hard no matter what.
Even though they do serve beer and some alcohol, but like that is just not a romantic vibe.
And a lot of their seating is bar stool high tops with no backs. That can be comfortable.
Like Olive Garden, which is the next one, like that could be more romantic.
Agreed. Olive Garden's okay.
6, the movies. Agreed. No matter who you are, where you're from.
Yeah. First date, because you're supposed to get to know someone, not sit in silence for 3 hours.
Right. 7, your house. Agreed. First date.
Agreed as in yes or no?
As in a no.
No. Yeah, no.
No, you don't go to someone's house on a first date.
In this climate?
That and also like, take me out.
Yeah.
8, any fast food chain.
Yeah.
9, Buffalo Wild Wings.
I don't know. It's like a cute sports bar. Like,
it's a vibe.
I think it's okay.
I think it's okay too. 10 Wingstop. I've never been.
Very similar to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay.
Like sports bar energy. I think it's fine.
11 Red Lobster.
Totally fine.
I agree.
It's elevated fine dining.
12 a buffet.
Like Golden Corral.
I agree.
Yeah, no.
That's not the vibe.
No, it's not romantic.
And you really can't load up like you would want to.
It's so true. It's like a waste of money to pay for the buffet because you can't, like, throw dinner rolls in your purse.
Yeah. 13 IHOP.
Only because it's breakfast. Breakfast is not date. Date is like, the lighting is lowered.
Yeah, it's a little bright in there. Do they serve alcohol even?
No.
Yeah, I think you have to have a liquor license.
I agree.
14 Denny's, same thing.
Yep.
15 the gym. Duh.
Oh, I didn't even know that was up for debate. No.
16 interesting. Church. Say it was temple.
I think if that's your lifestyle, that's actually incredibly sweet.
I agree. As long as we're going to get a bite to eat after.
No, and as long as we're on equal playing fields. Like if this person's really, very religious and the person, going out on the date is not, like, don't take me to your church if I don't like pray or if I don't ever go. But if these are two church going peeps, that's lovely.
Yeah, but we do have to get a bite to eat after.
It's undebatable.
Because technically, isn't it like going to the movies? Like,
yes, but it's a little bit different because you're connecting on a spiritual level. Yeah, you're not talking, you're getting to know each other. It's different than the movies, but it's similar.
Yeah. 17 Starbucks. Agreed.
No.
18 coffee dates. Agreed. Like, that's not a romantic date. And certainly not a first date.
Actually, I don't know. People do like coffee dates. It's like a quick way, like, let's see if we even like connect on the smallest level and then we'll take it out for real. It's like kind of a good...
I agree, but that's like what going for a drink is for.
I know.
And I just feel like coffee, if you're really in a place where like you're just like grabbing coffee to see if you even like this person, like you must be going on so many dates. Like,
yeah,
it should be a little special thing.
It should be special. It becomes a little kind of
and coffee
mechanic.
Date is like, you can't drink coffee past 5 o'clock. So like we're just meeting in the middle of the day. Like, can't we have something special?
Yeah, if we're meeting in the middle of the day for 30 minutes and like, it's our lunch break from work, it's not special.
And it's like, what, just so I could get a look at you to say yay or nay? I feel like that's like very serial
Shallow.
dating. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like speed dating almost.
Yes. And I don't think that's the way to be. Even though I do think you should go on a lot of dates if you're looking for a partner, but like not like that.
Yeah.
Ice cream dates.
Cute. But even though it feels like a second half of a date, not,
Yeah. It's like,
but I don't know, strolling around a small town with an ice cream cone sitting on a bench, that's cute actually. That's cute. That's a good like low budget date.
And also...
And I don't mean low budget in a negative way. I mean, like, if you're going on a lot of dates, you don't have to spend $100 every dinner.
But that's because you added the stroll. If they were just sitting in the ice cream shop, eating their ice cream and then going home, it's not enough.
No. But there are definitely ways to do dating on a budget. And I think, walking around a park at twilight, getting ice cream, sitting, like, that's cute.
Yeah. Walking.
Yeah.
With, like, a little food truck, maybe.
Yeah. Or an ice cream truck.
Yeah, exactly. Next, family functions. Agreed.
No.
Agreed. Next, movie night, Netflix, Hulu. Agreed. No, because that also you have to be at their house.
In a house.
Next, somewhere that requires a long drive. Agreed.
No. Yep.
Next, bowling.
I think bowling's okay. It's like a fun activity to get to know someone. They sell liquor there.
Yeah.
I think I thought that was going to be on the list and I would disagree with it.
Can you bowl just 2 people?
Yeah.
It's just not as fun.
No.
Next, nightclub. Agreed. Next, hookah bar.
Agreed.
Next, a bar for just drinks. Disagree.
Totally fine.
Next, Waffle House.
No.
Next, sports events. It's kind of like a movie.
Yeah, it's better. I think it's okay.
I think it's okay. That's kind of nice if someone takes you to a sports event. They like care.
If both people are really into sports.
Yeah.
It's like common ground to connect on.
Yeah. And it's like...
That was a good story.
Yeah, I thought it would spark some interesting combo.
That's our show. Nice long one today, and I feel so good about it. This was like one of our best shows. The bell thing, I'm cracking up.
The bell?
Belle.
Cracking up.
So that's our show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for listening to the Toast the Millennial Morning Show, where we deliver the fast 5 stories you need to know every Monday through Friday on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe and give the thumbs up. We're also available as podcasts anywhere podcasts can be found. So that's Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Radio, iHeart, Castbox, all the places where you listen to podcasts. Find us, the Toast, leave a 5-star review about how beautiful, stunning, and wickedly talented we are. Have a great day.
Love ya.
Bye.